and has left the jungle, unfortunately, here for OMG. Sad to see him go. Of course, bit of a fan of that guy. TBQ, bit of a shame. But, you know, xiaohu still sitting there towards the top side of the map. OMG still probably the OMG that we know and love, but could be a little bit interesting due to the fact that they may run into some, I guess, lack of experience.
I will say, though,
pool.
that for the hardcore LPL fans, Swain is still playing in the LSPL, so you can find him there.
You can certainly find him there. We are going to go over RNG, though, as matchup number 1 is about to be underway. Lupa, Mlxg, xiaohu, Uzi, and Mata. There's a LPL Dream Team. This is it. Yeah. Right now.
I mean, yeah, based off MSI performance, I would still consider xiaohu well and truly in that list. Perhaps the only addition is a couple of different mid laners here and there.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've got a rookie fan on the desk right now.
This is absolutely a strong, star-studded roster, to say the least. The KDA is supported. Everything supports it.
Yeah, these guys looking absolutely fantastic, especially moving out of MSI. And look, Whoosh played very, very well. Maybe slightly over-aggressively here and there, but I mean, this was his first sort of big international event, and I have to say, very, very impressed with the player. But Uzi coming from so much experience now with Mata there in the bottom lane. If there's going to be trust, like if Mata and Uzi are going to be able to trust each other, like that is easily going to happen. You've got like world champion, you've got runner-up, you've got like, there is so much prolificness in that bottom lane.
Yeah.
Just terrified. And look, Mata, casual as ever, as you see him on your screen right now.
My only question about this team is Uzi willing to listen to Mata's instruction? Because we know he's a controlling support. He's very much a big deal as a talking point on that team. If Uzi can't listen, it might crumble.
Yeah, exciting thing here as well is that we're looking down WE's roster, and there are some familiar names, of course. Hasn't moved around at all, but Zero, of course, former bottom lane duo partner with Uzi, is going to be up against his former teammate there with Mystic. The bottom lane has actually come into their own towards the end of the first split of the LPL. See whether they can continue moving up is a very big test in game number 1. Yeah, those jerseys actually looking pretty sweet. Heart monitor.
Yeah, they got rid of the keep your dreams.
Well, we're still keeping our dreams, WE, don't you worry. Condi, the king of thieves there as well in the jungle. And xiye, the man able to solo kill people on Nautilus.
Yeah, and honestly, 957 to me is the big standout. The rest of the team are strong players, and that is a known fact. We've seen it in the past, but 957, and I think it was his rookie split last split, came into his own, honestly, by the end of it, and really stepped up and performed to the mark that was required as a top laner in the LPL.
And it's not just like him being a role player either. This is a guy that was bringing out all of the brand new picks. The man able to adapt on this WE roster, was one of the first to play Rammus in the LPL towards the top side of the map. Of course, we did see it in Korea, but he was the first one to bring it over to China. And very exciting stuff, and we'll see whether he can do the same here up against Lupa, because Lupa was playing brilliantly at MSI.
Yeah.
And still, the meta definitely very similar.
Lupa's really stepped up. So if there's anyone that you're looking at in the World Elite up against RNG matchup, perhaps you'd always look at bottom and say that they might be the ones to struggle. But as far as I'm concerned, Zero and Mystic have always gone behind. They've always fallen back and then just held their own when it came to late game. Anyway, I'm looking at 957 and Lupa, because you give Lupa the smallest advance that he can then take, he will actually just carry the game with it. Yeah,
he certainly will. It'll be very, very interesting to see how things are going to work, whether or not we're going to get standard lanes, and whether or not WE have sort of fixed this issue that they had. And of course, the WE problem is that they didn't really do anything until like 35 minutes. They just made silly moves, lots of errors, 35 minutes hits, and then everything's amazing. Zero sort of gets all of his cavalry together and goes and kills everyone.
Yeah, they're labeled as the 35-minute team for a reason, I think. And our initial thoughts was coming into this, they're the Elder Dragon team. Because you know what? It spawns at 35 minutes or after.
We were thinking about WE when we decided to make that adjustment to the Dragon Pit. But we are into Champion Select, ladies and gentlemen. Kindred and Trundle banned away already from RNG. Lucian to follow up. And the Ryze and Nidalee have been taken off the board. So very standard. Fans that we have actually seen very similarly in day number 1.
Yeah, the Kindred, of course, justifying that ban. And we spoke briefly at the top of this towards physical damage dealers in the jungle going a bit missing.
Yeah.
And Graves has fallen out of favor a little bit. And with Kindred banned, there aren't a whole lot of options available, which is why that Rek'Sai seems to have a lot of favor.
And the Swain has actually been banned away here. We saw it towards the top side of the map played by V on Newbee yesterday, and he was dominant, double the CS of Mouse. Unfortunately, didn't manage to win the game. Of course, lane prowess, unable to really pull through if it is only towards the top side. But Maokai has been left available. RNG snapped that one up immediately. Looper, of course, has been known to play that champion a lot. And look, we've got so many Rek'Sai mains, sort of historical Rek'Sai mains in the LPL. Condi's just like, oh, my girl's back. Locking her in straight away. Of course, the first game that we saw, he managed to get a quad... Was it a pentakill or quadra-kill?
I think it was a quadra.
Yeah, underneath a bottom lane outer turret.
He also stole every kill on purpose. Sorry, secured on purpose.
Yeah, he did. But still, it is definitely a fun story. As WE are thinking about Mystic Sivir, and they are going to lock it in. So WE, AD carry in jungle. Not a whole lot given away, but... Could it be potentially dangerous picking Sivir into Uzi this early on?
An early rotation of the Sivir is definitely a question mark that we have to raise. Of course, Ezreal is the other potent AD carry choice when the Lucian is not available, but I know that Mystic's got what it takes to play... He's got what it takes to play Sivir. I'm just surprised that he's not the Ezreal.
Yeah, a little bit strange. Of course, he has Mystic Shot. Like, you know, Mystic Shot has his name in it, so it sort of makes a lot of sense. Also had a heck of a lot of comfort on the champion towards the end of split number 1. But give me the cow and I'll win you the game is what Marta says, and the Alistar will be locked in. Viktor as well taken away here for xiaohu. Control Mage is an option for him, of course, known a little bit more as an assassin player more than anything else, and of course the Emperor of Shurima himself. But no Azir to be picked up at all, and Viktor given a lot of priority.
Yeah, Azir, LeBlanc, all still very strong champions, so it's shocking to see that he hasn't opted towards that, but Viktor nonetheless has been altered slightly to be stronger with damage over time, and is always going to be a valuable pick here.
Yeah, and there's also the fact that they have a lot of CC to follow up with that Chaos Storm as well, so you will be able to get multiple ticks. Uzi, oh my god, okay, so anyone hasn't seen Uzi play Caitlyn, it is the most oppressive thing ever. If we look at it, like, the last time Uzi was playing Caitlyn regularly, oh god, give him that much range, that much ability to harass, it is a terrifying prospect. But not going to be picking it up here by the looks of things, as he's switching things over to Ezreal for now. Mlxg, thinking about picking up that Graves, of course, like you said, fell out of favor just a little bit. We'll see whether he's going to be able to make it work, as that's Ezreal and Graves locked in.
You have to remember when we were talking about physical damage dealers, Rek'Sai was the other one. So with Kindred and Rek'Sai gone,
yeah,
you kind of have to default to that Graves if you need something physical there. I think xiaohu will make up for most of the magic damage. Couple that with Looper, perhaps. He does a fair bit early. Yep. So they do need that. Uzi, of course, will be bringing it up at the rear with some physical damage, but it's not really enough.
Well, as you can see, 957 actually digging really far back into the history books, grabbing himself that Nautilus towards the top side of the map. If this Azir is going to be locked in, as
we
of
know
course,
xiye can play Nautilus.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of why we're talking about it, because the mid laner is currently being hovered as that last pick. Still a flex pick, of course, for WE.
I think it would make a lot of sense for him to go for the Azir here and kind of couple himself with the Sivir as a team composition.
Yep, like it.
Because now they have the overbearing front line. They've got some peel available with the Azir and the Bard as well. And perhaps initiation if it comes down to it to really round that team composition out.
Yeah, one thing I do like from RNG is they do have the Vengeful Maelstrom, stop a lot of that AoE damage that WE will be able to throw out. But they've got so much wave clear. This WE squad, I mean, if they are still going to be the 35-minute team, I have a feeling that they will be able to at least turtle things out if they want to, for as long as they want, considering the fact that that Sivir Boomerang, so helpful with the Ricochet as well as Azir just being able to mow down the creeps. Nautilus, no slouch either, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah. I mean, in regards to wave clear and team fighting, World Elite definitely have it down pat with the team composition that they have. Sitting in side lanes, however, is not really an option for them. And that's where they could run a risk, dependent on the Viktor's summoner spells.
Yeah,
because if xiaohu wishes to split push, then he's entirely capable of teleporting in.
Of course, Azir known as not being able to teleport as freely. We did see a couple of teleport Azirs in MSI, but unfortunately, he just can't get the setup time if you are going to come in. So not exactly a really impactful teleport if you do utilize it. But see exactly what happens here. Mlxg sort of digging back, going towards the Graves one more time. Looks like a very standard composition out of RNG as the coaches are going to shake hands. Well, ladies and gentlemen, first game of Group B underway right now.
We come and we go. All of us.
And here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Summoner's Rift for game number 1 of day 2 of the LPL, for the regular split 2,
We go.
2016. Yeah. I'm really intimidated, Uzi. That was real frightening.
That was intense.
Yeah, I'm really glad. I mean, we got the fresh out of the shower Clear Love yesterday. We got the Uzi today. Wonderful. Zero is going to draw first blood.
Makes sense. Perhaps there's just a big video piece that they haven't put together. And they're doing it in snippets depending on who's playing.
I don't know. I think it's brilliant. I think it's absolutely brilliant. So we are going to have a look at the Keystone Master. He's actually mirrored across the board, as it is going to be the Thunder Cow. Like it a lot.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, not many Alistars will go for the Thunderlords. I think Marta's one of the few.
Yep.
There's a big debate between Windspeaker's Blessing, Bond of Stone, and the occasional Thunderlords that pops up. The way I see it is Alistar looking to match Zero's damage on the Brad.
It's like Battle Cow, man. Battle Cow feels like
it basically is Battle Cow, yeah. But the point is that you headbutt Pulverize and your Trample can proc it, or you can slap them with a backhand, and it also procs it depending on how aggressive you're going to be.
Yeah, potentially being able to hoof people into Thunder territory. And as you can see, it does look like a lane swap could potentially be in effect here for RNG. And Ezreal, Alistar, not necessarily known for their laning prowess. They're actually going to start off the red buff here.
Is he pulling it into the bush so that... No, he doesn't want it. Oh, he wanted a small red.
Well, Marta has actually found Condi here. You can see how easy that Thunderlords is to proc as he pulverizes him.
Yeah, a bit of free gold.
Yep, Uzi heading up just to try and bother 957 for a bit. You can see RNG with a massive vote potential here.
Oh, wow.
82%.
And rightly so, given their international performance. World Elite, no slouches, so it's a little bit surprising to say, but we also saw this yesterday with EDG against Newbee.
Yeah.
Everybody loves the favorites.
Very true. They got it right for the EDG series as well, even though it did take 3 games. Dade, of course, having a fantastic performance on the Kassadin in game number 2 to bring them towards that final game.
There's also one small thing we need to note whilst we're watching a lane swap actually in effect.
Yeah.
Is the way that you have to distribute farm between carries. So the top laners respectively, the Maokai farming with the Graves, is never mind, he's going to hit him in the face.
Well, it's a lot of damage there out of this red buff infused Mlxg as he just makes a bit of a drive-by into the mid lane. xiaohu, now with Death Ray at the ready and a wave that's completely neutralized, might have some opportunities here.
Yeah. So the way that it works now is top laners have to get last hits. And if you don't get a last hit, you don't get experience in the jungle since 6.9 onwards. In which case you need to be very particular with what last hits the top laners are getting so that there is a distribution of experience.
Well, as you can see, top laners have joined the bottom lane here towards the bottom side of the map for WE and the top side of the map for RNG as they are taking down these turrets relatively effectively. See who is going to win this one out.
Both AD carriers, of course, running some kind of auto-attack augmenting spell. Uzi with the W, giving attack speed, and Sivir with the attack reset.
Yep.
Adding bonus wave clear to boot, making life easier for both of them.
You see RNG actually fairly far ahead here as far as this tower take is concerned. Lupa trying to pick up this minion wave as he destroys this. Nice bounce back is going to come into effect. See what he is going to be able to pick up for himself as 957 actually taking some turret shots, and this tower not going down nearly fast enough for WE. We'll see exactly what RNG are going to use in order to capitalize on this slightly slower maneuver.
Yeah, they need to get at this wave, and it's going to be close, but they need all of them there to actually secure the turret this way, which means a bit of bonus gold lost for 957 in the top lane. So whenever they reset to standard, you'll find that Lupa already has a slight edge in that respect, as well as the Ezreal and Alistar and Uzi and Marta arriving to that bottom lane far quicker than that of anyone else. And they can push whenever they choose to, or whenever Uzi feels comfortable walking near the bush.
Yeah, well,
which is now.
He's going to ward it now, so he knows that there's no one there, but just going to start catching back up in that farm. Mystic, of course, heading back to base, grabs himself a cull and a longsword, as opposed to just the tier that Uzi was able to pick up, but relatively fast on the tier.
Yeah, it's about the exact timing that you want the tier regardless, because you will still start to stack that up sooner rather than later. Nobody's going to contest him, you would assume, in lane swap scenarios. However, LPL teams really do love matching lane swaps and bringing it back to standard after a single turret is taken. That's what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, and it looks like it is going to work out quite well here for Lupa. Currently a 2-level advantage for the Maokai on the top side of the map, 3 times the CS as well.
There is a thing, there's a catch though.
Oh yeah?
Is that he's also on the long side of the map, so he has no turret for 957 to hide under, and if he were to bully him, he'll end up next to the secondary turret, which means he's far too deep, and he'll actually get himself ganked by Condi.
We'll see whether Condi is actually going to give him a hand. You can see he is towards the top side of the map. As we can see, Mlxg, these are his movements currently, has spent a little bit of time towards the enemy side of the jungle. But is it revealing anything to you, Rusty?
Not particularly, of course. It's a lane swap, so you look at the way that it works naturally.
Well, this is exactly where Condi's been, but you can see right now he's trying to gank Lupa. Does have the flash available as he twisted advances over towards Condi, and Mlxg here at exactly the right time. Patient play out of Lupa. Didn't want to blow the flash and didn't have to.
Yeah, and that's the big deal, Mlxg being there. Surprisingly being there. It's almost like preemptively acknowledging that it's going back to standard lanes and recognizing that Lupa is the one in danger of being ganked, as Condi's now mid.
Yeah, there's the heal. Going to go down here from xiaohu. Gives him some extra movement speed as Condi decides not to flash on top of him.
He could have burned summoner spells as a trade there, I would imagine, if xiaohu actually got flashed onto by Condi. But instead wants to keep his own flash, which, to be fair, is valuable on a Rek'Sai.
Real interesting. You can see currently the RNG bottom lane struggling against the power of the Brad. And some extra damage that Mystic was, of course, able to pick up. Doesn't have to grab any mana items, so he's feeling a little bit better in the early stages of the game. And RNG actually getting bullied out of the way here. And like you mentioned, the long lane possibly not having the safety that this RNG bottom lane wants.
Exactly, and it goes both ways, right? So at this point, World Elite, you would imagine, are in the unsafe position, but because they kept it in a pretty good spot for a while, they find themselves with a slight CS advantage. This is the danger part, though, where you would imagine RNG, if they're allowed to, will actually put a freeze into effect bottom, and Uzi will get himself the best wave of his life.
Yeah.
World Elite need to actually try and make an attempt to either break that or push somewhere else to draw attention so that he has to push.
And it seems like sort of the main thing that RNG were able to get out of the early...
RNG are fighting this.
Yeah, looking for it. Condi's going to be able to take away the rev up. There's a headbutt pulverizers. Oh my god, Zero's dead. That is going to be first blood going to Martyr on the cow as the tunnel comes in. xiaohu completely out of position. Does still have the flash, of course. Decides not to use it as gravity field is good enough. WE move out. Nice kill onto Zero there from RNG.
Patient play as well from the mid laner and jungler, respectively, of World Elite and RNG. No summoners being burnt time and again. It's very curious as 957.
Yeah, there's the dive. 957 not as tanky as he wants to be right now. Vengeful Maelstrom comes in. Not going to be enough as 957 limps away. Blows his flash, but keeps his life.
And this is a good move from Mystic as well, because all things considered, Zero actually has to attend top lane, but they had knowledge of where Mlxg is, which means he can push this to the turret, force Uzi to last hit under the turret and reset the wave to come back towards him after he gets a recall in. Patient play from World Elite, but it is working out at the very least in an even manner for them.
Yeah, really patient actually from both sides as well. Martyr, of course, not using his flash to take down Zero. See whether he can make anything happen. You can see the cow starting to move around the map. This is what Martyr is want to do, generally.
I mean, xiaohu not even using his ultimate when they caught out Zero was like another sign of the reserved nature of this game. They knew they could kill him. They knew they didn't need to burn anything, and realistically, I think he should have burned the ultimate to actually secure the kill instead of giving it to Martyr. Unfortunate.
Yeah. Do we think it sort of makes a bit of sense here, though, because a Mountain Drake is the first dragon that we do see coming up and can be very, very important. So trying to hold on to cooldowns, not giving anyone the opportunity to have an advantage at a dragon fight?
Absolutely. I mean, the Mountain Dragon is invaluable. Maybe not this early, but it'll always be an important detail later, so you don't want to give the Drake over.
Yeah.
In which case, perhaps you don't want to burn a Viktor ultimate. They might feel confident enough to do it, but Mountain Drake also takes the longest to secure. Also gives the most time in that respect for people to respond to your advances. So realistically, they just want kills. Doesn't matter what you burn. If you have a numbers advantage, you should be able to go for it. That's a weird spot to be.
Yeah, he's just going over to try and get some popcorn chicken. Able to clear out some tunnels there as well. Wants to make sure that it's more difficult for Condi to get around.
So there's a very interesting play happening on the board right now. You can see Zero kind of baiting whilst clearing for Condi.
Oh, really nice Cosmic Binding comes in. Oh, and the Boomerang there as well into Uzi. Half of his health bar has gone. Mlxg just trying to lend a hand towards the bottom side. Chaos Storm comes in the mid lane here as xiaohu. Lots of damage. Headbutt Pulverize on top of Mystic. Lots of damage out of the ultimates, but they're dodged out of the way with a flash. Now Mystic turning things on its head. Mata are in so much trouble.
Teleports.
Mlxg as well. He's so low, but able to kite things around. They've got a minion wave helping them out. Mata, he's going to fall down. Zero is very, very low. Uzi still kiting this one around. Able to get a fair bit of damage down. Goes forward with the Arcane Shift, but it's not enough. xiaohu gets here. But it's too little too late, and that is 3 easy kills for WE in the end.
Very well executed from World Elite. Kiting around the fight. I think the most important detail that I do hope we see in a replay was the flash out of Mystic, because the headbutt Pulverize was there, but it wasn't enough as xiye.
Yeah, able to knock a whole bunch of people away as xiaohu taking some tower aggro. One more shot would have killed him, but he is going to survive for now. Nice use of the ultimate defensively from the Azir player. Yeah,
they get summoners and an ultimate out of him, but they don't get the kill, and Looper's wasted efforts essentially are just to hold the middle lane, simply because xiaohu had already made an effort in the bottom, and he popped his ult mid, he pushed xiye out of lane, and then he roamed without it where he could have got kills, and then misses another one mid lane. It's just small things mean a big deal in League of Legends, and xiaohu just bullying with his ult does not pay off.
Yeah. Well, you can see back after Mystic picked up all of that gold. Managed to pick himself up a BF sword. He's got a lot of damage in this lane. Uzi only with sort of pickaxe sheen as far as damage sources are concerned.
One of the few Ezreals that'll always go for a pickaxe as well.
Yeah.
Loves to get that damage first, but I would say that on the current patch, getting a mana immune before you're completed Iceborne Gauntlet would be quite valuable. You want to stack it soon and quick.
Just farming with his Q for now, understands that Zero and Mystic very, very scary. Even Mlxg moving down here has been pinged out. Vision available from WE right now. As the Dragon wakes up, Condi's presence alerting him for the moment.
Yeah,
Zero is wandering around. Yeah, exactly right. So no one to really contest for that. As Cosmic Binding does go wide, Mlxg will be able to clear out this pink ward very quickly. Death Ray does not find xiye.
Yeah, but both mid laners are just trying to keep each other busy to actually stop rotations around the map, and the reason for that is no teleports. They need to keep each other with their hands full, essentially, to unlock Condi and Zero to rotate together, or on the converse, to actually give Mata room to move and work around the map, because that's where he shines the brightest.
Yeah.
When he can play for his team, not just for Uzi.
Right now, level 5 almost has the Unbreakable Will. As WE move towards this dragon, so Mountain Drake has been started up. Mystic with a lot of damage to help out. And it looks like RNG may just have to leave this one go.
Yeah, they actually think that Condi is at the top side of the map based off that last ping. This will be almost uncontested.
Oh, that True Shot Barrage was so close out of Uzi. Did manage to just pick up Vision as Mata threw a ward in.
Close, but not enough. Atlas, yeah, unfortunately, is a very nice Dragon take from World Elite, completely uncontested besides Ezreal.
Yep, close but no cigar, much like a Graves at this
not
stage.
On the LPL. Yep, Graves has a cigar.
Oh yeah, so close but still a cigar somewhere. They will be able to take themselves an inner turret towards the top side of the map. xiaohu sort of relegated to underneath his in the mid lane, though.
This is such a slow-paced game as well, and might be wondering why. And I would say mostly because with the Graves Ezreal, they want to get an item and actually spike.
Yeah.
Before they can get things done on the map. Remember, the early pressure of a Rek'Sai is always relevant. Whilst he is a tanky champion, it means that if he is ahead by any means, or if he has his items, then he's going to be tanky and arguably more relevant than the Graves. But he will peter off in terms of skill.
You can see right now, RNG are going to be able to take down this Rift Herald at about 15 minutes into the game. Looks like nothing is going to come of it for WE. Not entirely sure what RNG are going to utilize it for, whether, you know, Mlxg is going to pick it up, and does look like he is. So not giving it to the Maokai or anything to try and get him split pushing, give it to Mlxg. So he can have a little bit more prevalence if he gets caught out in his jungle, or if he wants to shove things around in the lanes.
Yeah, heavy damage dealing Marksman jungle as well can benefit from the 5% damage reduction. It gives a bit of extra damage as well occasionally when he's moving around the map. So, I mean, it's not that bad. It just signals that they don't really want the Maokai split pushing at all. They just want to utilize him in a team play environment where they can coordinate their movements. Kind of just let Mlxg do his thing. The lone wanderer.
Indeed. Well, there's the flash. xiaohu may actually have to use his. Doesn't have it available, though. The heal's used. Will be able to make his way back underneath his turret. It was a big play from xiye, but his flash is now down. Yeah,
I mean, the end result is actually just swap summoner spells because Condi wasn't there. He jumped the gun, xiye. That's not something that you need to do this early in the game. Work around your team, coordinate, and get it done. Big hiccup, honestly.
Yeah,
there it is again.
Well, yeah, teleport actually going to be cancelled now.
Speaking of hiccups.
Yeah, precisely. So WE are just looking overly aggressive, desperate to continue this lead.
Yeah. That's the big thing. It is
only 100 gold right now.
They just know that they have control of the map. It's not a genuine gold lead. It's not even a map lead. They have momentum.
Yeah.
And with that momentum, they want to accelerate the game further and try and put it actually into their hands in terms of items. From that point, you have momentum and items, you have the game. But they don't do it. They actually fumble more than once. And RNG are going to be very happy with that because if they want to sit back and farm and get items on their respective carries, it's exactly what they've been allowed to do. Unless people can get kills from just raw laning or simple map movement ganks, which is what World Elite are now trying as well.
Yeah, given a massive amount of space for xiaohu in the mid lane as well, whose flash just came up. xiye doesn't have his. He's going to be very, very safe. Next dragon is going to be a Mountain Drake as well. So possible 2 for WE and RNG able to potentially even things out as far as the dragons are concerned.
A whole range of Mountain Drakes now available.
Yep, Looper going to be able to kill a Cinderling. Says, who would deny the red buff?
I believe the answer was Mlxg.
Yep, precisely it.
Clearing it for his own team. Once again, though, I think turrets will start to fall here for RNG as they are organically keeping everywhere pushed.
Yeah.
957 with no teleport is actually probably the determinant of this.
And it's interesting as well because we looked at WE's comp and we were like, oh, wow, they're going to have like really impressive wave clear. It's been RNG that's been able to keep the pressure up in these lanes sort of over and over again. And of course, they do have pushing champions like the Viktor. Of course, Maokai, no slouch towards the early stages as well.
Especially when you have a Cinder on a champion. Yep. Notably, 957 did not opt towards that. Yeah. Because they want Mystic.
Yeah, Spell Shield is going to go down. Pinkwood is now there in the brush, as you see Uzi still with not a whole lot of battle statistics, but Man Immune has been completed. 2-item spike still incoming.
Never underestimate an Ezreal's attack speed as well.
Oh, Mlxg out of position just a little bit. Does still have the flash available. Quick draw was not enough to get him out of the way, but there's a flash forward. Chaos Storm. Lots of damage here. Out of the way, though. So it's not really going to help out. Condi has to use the flash. And Uzi now having to struggle with... Oh, my goodness. That magical journey takes him the wrong way.
And now Loop is in.
Yeah, won't be able to get them there. True Shot Barrage over the top. xiye is going to fall down, and RNG orchestrated that so beautifully.
That was weird. Definitely made it work, though, as they're not done.
Yeah, heading underneath the turret. Fantastic Cosmic Binding does come in as Mlxg going to flash over towards Zero. Mystic now underneath the turret, and that's just a drive-by here for RNG.
They accidentally disengage. Rule number 1 of a Bard is do not stand next to the person you're ganking or diving the turret with. For no particular reason, they get stunned, and Zero can take a magical journey to safety whilst Mystic spell shields and flashes simultaneously to prevent any chance of injury. And all things considered, they get a kill. That's handy, but that was one of the weirdest series of events that I have witnessed.
Oh no, Condi.
He'll take it now.
Oh, he better. Good old Dolphin Rek'Sai. Here's the replay. Bouncy castle for Mlxg.
Yeah, but Mlxg does not burn anything, and the call's been made by Marty. You can see how far ahead he is. He actually flashed to close distance to xiye, who was not in range. They find Zero and go to help Uzi, who does swapsies. And that was one of the better things that sets them up here onto xiye, who does go down. Thank you to a fantastic teleport from Looper to round him out. But this is where the blunder really took place from these guys. Zero gets out scot-free because they go for Mystic, then he flashes and spell shields.
Yeah, Mlxg, of course, flashing for that one as well, but unable to get anything done, and WE will be able to grab their second Mountain Drake after all is said and done. That is a huge deal for being able to push down these turrets.
Absolutely. I think it's 8% true damage now because we are on 6.10 opposed to 20.
Yep.
If memory serves. And that's actually a lot of pressure now around the Baron as we are 20 minutes in this game. Don't let their team composition fool you. It doesn't matter what you are now. You're always going to do it quickly.
Well, especially when you've got an Azir who just did it quickly anyway.
Yeah. Well, and a Sivir as well.
Yeah.
Still does it quick. No slouch with the crit build that naturally goes towards.
Well, Zeal is now picked up as well. Mystic, we'll see exactly which Zeal item he decides to go for. Of course, Phantom Dancer, Shiv seem to be the ideas a lot of them have. It's been a while since we've seen the old Sivir, though.
Yeah, it is. Used to seeing Ezreal and Lucian, but Lucian banned this game.
Yeah, Twitch and Caitlyn, of course, making a little bit of a resurgence. As in goes WE, they're looking for xiaohu right now. Chaos Storm onto Zero, has to flash out of the way. Tempered Fate locks up Condi and xiaohu as he's trying to use the Q, using the heal as well for some extra movement speed.
Hasn't got the knock up yet.
He's running.
Now.
Yep, Death Ray comes in, and there's the knock up. Condi says, well, that's
fine.
about all I got.
Yeah.
And they are going to move away.
There's a lot used and nothing gained. Once again, World Elite showing proactivity to a fault. I think if you, instead of like constantly looking for fights, if you fight when you make a good decision and set yourself up for success, then you'll get much more impactful engages and more gain from them. Same thing goes to RNG this game. Everyone feeling sloppy, like they've got the first round jitters.
Yeah, a little
striking
bit.
through them.
It's like the team's feeling them out a little bit right now as RNG all moving towards this Raptor camp. Mlxg is going to be able to steal that one away.
And I've missed tank junglers. That's the one thing I can say about this patch or this week. How often do you see current patch junglers just walking in there and contesting their Raptors,
Not
knowing
really caring.
they're not going to take a single point of health in damage?
Or also knowing that it's going to take them about, 3.5 minutes to die anyway. So may as well just contest.
Exactly. Lots of positives to having Condi on this Rek'Sai. He's going to be a super tank. And it looks like...
Oh, stolen from Mlxg.
And it looks like Deadman's played as well, I believe, the build for Condi. Depending on how he rounds out the next part of his item build.
A little bit more on-hit damage available.
Never mind random.
Oh, yeah, looks like random. Which makes some sense.
Look, it was a cloth armor before we went to the gold. Okay.
Don't worry, I trusted you. I trusted you. Xiye is going to move away from the Death Ray, though. xiaohu now with the Ryze Crystal Scepter completed. Couple of levels in that Hex Core. Only the perfect round to go next.
And so we're at a point in the game where the map actually stagnates quite heavily. You have to remember, because the mid lane turrets are standing. They even managed to keep the outers in side lanes, and that's the interesting thing that's now taking place. World Elite of lane swap. They've realized that they've got 3 objectives sitting on the top side of the map they can work towards. 2 Mountain Dragons also. Means taking this is a lot quicker. xiaohu really likes this.
Yep. Flashes the Tempered Fate there as Mystic is going to spell shield, but actually blocks the Chaos Storm. It's now Mata and xiaohu trying to fight this one out. True Shot Barrage does snag Mystic, but no one really committing to anything. That was a 2 versus 3 that RNG decided to take.
And it wasn't a bad idea. Like, the amount of damage that xiaohu does can kill Mystic 100%, but he misses the timing, which is really unfortunate on the Sivir spell shield. He was close to perfect, and that's what he was going for, to surprise him.
Yeah.
Wasn't enough.
Oh my goodness, another one. Thanks, Mlxg. What a jerk. One thing I do want to talk about here is the sort of build that Viktor's now going as well, because we have been seeing a very quick, perfect Hex Core. And I love this. Given the fact that you have so much more power of the follow-up of Chaos Storm, giving it that extra movement speed that perfect Hex Core gives you has become so much more important.
All of your damage is over time now as well, so like you can be more reliable in actually upgrading that Hex Core and actually augmenting it, as you mentioned, to give move speed and whatnot. So smart decision in that respect. But Morello's is still a very good item that you could look towards. I will say, though, you can go into the perfect Hex Core and then look for a defensive item as well, because they all give cooldown reduction, and that's where the alteration can also be implemented.
Of course, you're mentioning the Abyssal Scepter and the Zonia's Hourglass that are now building out a Fiendish Codex.
But Ryze is also very invaluable. So the rule of thumb now with the new Viktor is it does a lot of damage in a pulsating effect, so every 2 seconds, it might be 1.5. It actually pops and does a base damage of 150, 300, or 450, depending on the level of your ultimate. So at this stage, 300 per pop, not including AP. And Ryze actually keeps them within that storm if you're using other spells on them, which means the consecutive follow-up damage will be massive. just harder to actually hit, which is why he goes for the item.
Oh, very true. You can see Uzi actually mixing things up with the Ezreal build just a little bit. Berserker's Greaves have been picked up. Interesting.
I'm not justifying that. I'm not against it. Perhaps he has cooldown runes.
Yeah, what is sort of the attack speed limit for his passive? You know, if you've got full stacks, how much
he'll
is
be
redundant?
fine. In terms of attack speed, he'll be fine, but that's very much like an on-hit build that he's doing. So the way I see it is tank shredding because he's got Condi and 957 to contest with.
Oh, see if he builds a Black Cleaver, gets the 40% CDR.
I will be shocked if he goes Black Cleaver.
Imagine it. It has been changed a little bit. Who knows what's going to happen as Mlxg steals away another big buff. xiye missing out on 15% extra AP.
Yeah. RNG actually continuing that pressure load and putting down towards Border Lead's jungle. And once again, they've got a damage-dealing jungler that can take creeps a lot easier than Condi. Why not rotate around the map?
Yeah,
Weird balance.
RNG at the moment just looking to try and contest for this dragon. It's going to be a Cloud Drake as Drake number 3. So the couple of mountains that WE picked up, they're probably feeling pretty happy about that. Probably don't want to waste too much time on a Cloud Drake.
No, but it's also quite important just to have the Drake there. Thinking about the Elder Dragon and what it actually means.
Yeah.
More bonus damage and whatnot. World Elite also primarily showing that they want to have Dragon control above all else. It's what they've been setting themselves up for all game.
Well, Mlxg tried to get it, but not going to find it there. xiye able to pick that one up. Mlxg just wanders out of the pit here as well, as there's the ultimate popped on the hunts there, but...
Guard ulti not used.
Yeah, just looking for disengage, saying, all right, well, we've got 3 dragons now, feeling pretty good about it.
And it's no surprise that coming into game number 1, World Elite have shown that they're going to be an Elder Dragon team.
Oh, yeah.
They want that 35-minute mark. There'll be one more dragon, obviously, before. So that one will probably be contested. RNG, of course, I'm going to say starting to get a bit hyphy. Wanting to get things done. That's why they're fighting for every blue, every raptor, and every red buff. Almost to the second.
Not really fighting to every dragon. It seems pretty free here for WE for now, but Mlxg has to be careful here around the red.
Yeah, I just don't think they want a 5v5. And I don't blame them looking at World Elite's team composition, but they want to actually catch people out of position going for these buffs. This is interesting.
Yeah, teleport going to come down. Yeah, xiaohu actually going to stand right in amongst it here as he's may have the Chaos Storm. No, can't use it at all. Big knock-up comes in as Uzi manages to Arcane Shift out of the way of the Emperor's Divide, but everyone flashing over the top.
God,
he does make it out. Yeah, Mystic flashes as well. Dredgeline, but the Arcane Shift is enough. And Uzi's just like, come on, guys, leave me alone.
They've just won a team fight. They're chasing Uzi instead of getting turrets.
He gets into the Dragon Pit here as well. 957 trying to flank it.
All right. He's temporarily alive. We'll see what xiye gets done.
Yeah, another Arcane Shift comes in. Of course, lots of cooldown reduction available, but he is able to eventually pick that one up. And because of that, WE weren't able to take any objectives at all from those 2 kills.
And RNG are going to say thank you, Uzi, for keeping them busy for far too long. He did not deserve to live that long, but he kept them so busy they get absolutely nothing for it. They can control some minion waves, maybe deny some creeps under that turret. Net gain of nothing because RNG still have the gold lead, even though World Elite just won a fight.
Yeah. And xiaohu just going to extend it out here as well. Lots of wave clear available. So Death Ray going to clear out this full minion wave. 3 towers to 1 is the lead for RNG, which is where a lot of this gold advantage is coming from.
It is the gold difference, that's right.
So Mlxg clearing out vision as well, but his location definitely known, and WE utilizing that in order to get towards this outer turret in the mid lane. Nice spell shield there from Mystic. The ultimate comes through from Mlxg, but it's too little too late.
Yeah, and they're going to set up here as well. Mlxg is very squishy. You can see that from the damage that he is taking, which means World Elite are now starting to be the aggressors, and I feel like this does come once again back to that momentum we discussed earlier. I think they can take everything.
Exactly right, but Mata actually looking for an engagement here as Mystic gets exploded, but he's still alive. Lupa's able to finish him off. Mata does fall down. Mlxg going to go as well as xiaohu still at full health, but needs to get the damage down. Uzi kiting this one as effectively as possible as Zero has made it out for now. xiaohu actually tanking for a very long time for a Viktor. As Condi gets his way on top of him, xiye is going to be able to lock down the Viktor. Lupa as well, very, very tanky, but Uzi's dead. Lupa's able to lock down 957 falls. That's not your turret, Lupa. Dangerous, dangerous times, and xiye just with so much damage, setting up some more soldiers. is able to, oh, almost, there it is, take down the tree as Condi
is alive.
Yeah, it's not going to fall.
And World Elite win themselves another team fight, this time positioned better to get objectives and grow that gold lead further. Very well executed once again, and I'm looking at the Azir and saying that he is the big deal in all of these team fights, because whilst the engage was great onto Mystic from Marta, who I will say baited that spell shield perfectly, they catch Xiaohu out. Lupa has to still use his Twisted Advance. And there's a lot for Mystic. Like, xiye is essentially ignoring Lupa and just has to avoid the Viktor ultimate. Kind of bides his time. Yeah. And once the attention has been changed, you can see the Azir sets himself back up, even flashes into position for this with Zero. So the coordination is unreal between these guys. And sets those Sand Soldiers up again. Very well executed as a team, recognizing that when you're low health, you don't just run away. You actually commit to the fight and you go back in. Zero, xiye, members of the team with no health know they can still do more for the fight.
Yeah, and you can see xiye definitely able to do that, as that's a lot of extra damage. 3 times the amount of his next highest number. As WE now looking for this Baron with 2 Mountain Drakes as well. This is doing a lot of work. Zero Magical Journey's his way out. Marta's going to follow him. The Baron is going to fall down. As now Mlxg finally in here. Marta does have the ultimate, but he's going to fall down.
Oh, they got Lupa.
Yeah, fairly overly aggressive, potentially, from Marta. Lupa now tanking a lot of damage. Xiaohu and Uzi now together.
Lupa's not the right target.
Oh my goodness. The Emperor's Divide only onto Lupa. He's dead now. xiye is going to fall. Mlxg very, very low. Uzi as well with a lot of health, though. Condi, Empowered Recall, is going to possibly get him back here. RNG, they do theoretically win the fight afterwards just because they had control of the area, but it's a 2-for-1 in favor of WE, and they grab the Baron.
Yeah, exactly. So the Baron buff now stands on World Elite's roster, and that is the big deal because somebody still has the buff in their hands. They can reset now, utilize that, push down more turrets, get a bigger gold advantage, and everything's still going right here for World Elite. We've seen glimmer of hope, though, for RNG based off that last engage, things that they can still do right. Condi is a bit deep here.
Yeah, trying to steal away this red buff. Uzi, True Shot Barrage is going to do a lot of damage here to the Rek'Sai, but pretty tanky right now. And Uzi's going to say, well, at least I got the red buff.
Well, that's all he really wanted. I don't think there was too much of a chance of killing Condi. Randuin's Omen, not going to be too useful this game, and I'm very curious that he's gone for it.
Just remember, the slow, I think, more than anything else.
It is. It's for the slow, but you have to remember it reduces critical strike damage to him.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at Zero members who have critical strike besides Graves, with like a Phantom Dancer, so he's a 30% crit champion.
Yep.
Not worth it, realistically. But that to me is when I look at the team and I'm saying, well, where's your Frozen Heart instead, perhaps? He's not a mana champion. I think it's fine. Randuin's for the slow. The active, still quite valuable. World Elite now looking for the Dragon as well. This one considered, I don't think it matters who gets it. It's the fight for it that's important.
Yeah.
RNG should fight.
Just getting destroyed here as well. Tempered Fate is going to find Xiaohu one more time. Uzi, decent position here as well as Mystic right in the backline, but he's getting demolished by RNG. Lupa locks him down. Chaos Storm on top of Condi only, as xiye still hasn't committed to this fight. Uzi, very, very low, 957, trying to escape. xiye, full health, just hasn't been able to do anything in this one at all. Powered Recall is going to get Condi out, but RNG easily able to win this fight. True Shot Barrage.
xiye's going to do a Mystic now.
Yep, Teleport is going to be used from Lupa, so they've managed to get the flank in. We'll see what xiye is going to be able to do here. Marta's going to fall. It's opened him up some time. Mlxg in trouble. So much auto-attack damage out of these soldiers. As Lupa says, yeah, try and get that much damage down onto me. I'm a big, burly tree.
The xiye's got no mana, otherwise he'd probably continue fighting. I don't know how deep Lupa's going to go because Zero's here. He's kind of just checking out what happens when he pressures him. But World Elite get the Dragon. So like every single time that we've seen a fight that RNG have now won, they're still showing their capabilities of winning these fights, but they're not winning the game because they keep losing the Dragon, losing the Baron, or even having even trades in situations where it's undeserving of them.
Yeah.
This next fight, whether it's for the Baron, whether it's for the Elder Dragon, which will be up in like 5 odd minutes, whatever it may be, RNG need to actually get there before the objective's taken. They need to be there on time.
And now it's sort of the denial game for RNG from this point onwards. As you mentioned, 35 minutes is when that Elder Drake is going to be coming up. Actually, no.
Well,
I think there's still one more dragon to be taken.
I think it's 39 minutes. So no, if it's going to spawn,
Yep.
After 35 minutes, it will be an Elder. So the
Yep.
next one is an Elder.
Yep.
But it'll spawn at like an undefined time by our knowledge. I'm going to say 39.
Yep. Well,
There's your gauge.
will mean that RNG just have to play denial here with the Dragon. And we'll see whether WE are going to be able to trade that potentially, grab themselves a Baron and say, all right, well, you can have an Elder Dragon that doesn't really do anything for you.
Yeah, and
Take
that's where
down
the dance
another
starts.
sieging buff, yeah.
We have to choose, right? So do we deny the Elder or do we get the Baron?
Yeah, Chaos Storm now on top of Zero. It's doing a lot of damage now that it's perfect with that Hex Core, but Zero is going to survive. Some chunked members here from WE. No
Also,
Ocean Drakes to speak of.
I have to question xiaohu's item build as well. He's gone for the Lich Bane, and like it's not a bad item on a Viktor. I just mean he is against 2 tanks that are going to have MR. He doesn't have his Void Staff, instead he opts towards the Lich Bane for damage, which means he has to be hitting carries. But even the carries, like you've got an Abyssal Scepter on xiye. It means you have to be hitting Mystic, and he has a spell shield that has been used to actively shield xiaohu's ultimate almost exclusively in a lot of these fights. I feel like he needs something to actually get past the tanks or do damage to anybody on the map, because right now xiye with his own Void Staff and 4 completed items is actually just beyond massive. There is nothing that I think xiaohu's going to be doing in these fights. It comes down to Uzi. Uzi is everything.
Yeah, Sun Turret once again going to be erected here in the mid lane. Uzi actually behind by quite a lot. That's 2,000 gold, the lead for Mystic. Just been clearing up creeps over and over again.
He does still have his items though, Uzi. And there's the 4 items.
Yep.
Completed. Whereas the 4 items that Mystic have, maybe more expensive, but I think Ezreal is always going to be doing his job. My biggest concern is always going to lie with the mid lane.
Yeah.
And the magic damage that is being done across the board for RNG. Completely negated.
Oh, 957 cancels that back. WE looking to try and get some pressure here towards the top side. You can see Condi was pushing that one out. xiaohu is looking to head back to base. We'll see whether they are going to be able to defend this inner turret. Whether WE have got the inside track. Lupa also heading back.
They have some damage available here.
Yep, True Shot Barrage clears out part of that minion wave, but look at that damage. Double Mountain Drake, man. It's dumb.
Yeah, that was a lot of damage, as well as the Azir, remember, with the W.
Yeah.
Arising soldiers to just, like, I guess they're kamikaze soldiers. I don't really know what you'd call that part of his W.
Yeah.
It's a bit interesting.
Just put soldiers inside the turret to attack it from the inside.
Explosive soldiers.
Yeah. Don't know. Kamikaze soldiers, let's just
We'll just do that. Either way,
yeah.
the speed that they take that. This is the interesting part though, right? We've got the Baron up in 30, we've got the Dragon in 1:20. What do they do?
Yeah,
what do RNG do?
What can RNG do here as well? Because WE are just starting to take a lead here. xiye, we're going to try and get himself out of there. Of course, picks are still available possibly here for RNG, but they may need to rely on some sort of mistake out of WE, because we've been seeing these team fights just with the composition that WE have, just looks better out of this team.
Yeah, I mean, best case scenario, they do it on spawn. They do Baron on spawn, they pressure World Elite into a team fight. Okay scenario is they trade objectives and perhaps they get the Baron, but they lose the Elder Dragon.
Yeah.
World Elite, remember the Elder Dragon's duration is not very long. So you can maybe exploit that. But worst case scenario is World Elite get one of them and it's uncontested. Which
Look
means
at this,
the other
that
one
is
will be
the
easier.
quickest two-man Baron I have ever seen. It is going to be seen there, but of course she shrieks a whole bunch when she falls down, so they would have known anyway. Uzi trying to grab it with that True Shot Barrage.
But this is it. Like, 20 seconds until the Elder spawns. I was right, by the way. 39. Really well done.
Yeah, nailed it.
Almost perfect. Wow. Either way, yeah. Look, sorry.
The Prophet. Mystic as well almost, he basically has 6 items right now. I mean, that's a Last Whisper upgrade. That's all he really needs to do, and this Sivir is going to be well and truly dominating this game. Bloodthirster there as well for some extra survivability.
All or nothing time for RNG.
Yeah.
If they don't fight now, they don't fight at all.
Well, Teleport is coming in here. Lupa trying to find his way through. Mystic on the hunt has been popped. There's a point-blank twisted advance. There's a Teleport to follow up here from WE. Zero already very, very low as Uzi towards the bottom side. xiye in trouble, and he's going to die. They've managed to pick that one out. Zero over the top. And RNG still haven't lost a member just yet. Lots of blinking health bars. Looper as well, taking a lot of damage. The spell shield is in there. Mlxg trying to do the work. Uzi over the top, but he gets knocked out of the way by Condi. Chaos Storm doing a lot of damage. But here's Mystic, and he's doing so much goddamn work. Uzi's like, nah, peace, boys. I'm out of here. We tried.
We'll see how far Uzi gets. That was actually really lucky. Condi missed, but that is still 4 people dead from RNG. The Elder Dragon to be secured by World Elite with Mystic getting the buff. They've still got the Baron, and they are completely in the driver's seat right now in this first game against RNG. Something I don't think we expected to say.
Most definitely not. And look, I mean, Uzi played that quite well with Mata there to take out xiye. But look, yeah, this is just dumb. They're going to be able to breathe on all of these turrets.
Look at the damage in that last team fight. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. 12,000 damage. These structures are getting obliterated.
A knife through hot butter, Atlas.
Damn right.
Whatever you'd like, a hot knife through butter. Look, it's one of them
same thing.
Yeah. I feel like it achieves the same purpose in the end, right? Like the butter gets sliced very easily.
Chicken or the egg, Rusty, is the question. But no, Nexus turrets still stand. I have a feeling that if WE had really understood how much damage they do to these turrets, they would have just headed in and destroyed them. It was only a couple left. As there's the slide and glide in there. Mlxg just says, all right, yep, you earned yourself that one, xiye. And WE now with a 5 versus 4 situation as they siege through the top. And I say siege, I mean obliterate. Like artillery.
The brute force commences as well. 2 lanes at once. World Elite looking commanding. And 41 minutes in this first game. There's the fight.
Yeah, Lupa actually just getting destroyed as well. He's supposed to be that big tanky Maokai, but you can see Mystic able to tear him apart. All the inhibitors are dead. WE saying, we're going to play this one by the book. As Mata, the last-ditch effort, unable to do anything. Now xiaohu with a Chaos Storm on 4 people. That is pretty impressive, but honestly, he's still dead. These turrets as well. Uzi sitting on his fountain. And WE with such a brilliant performance in their first game in the LPL for split number 2.
Yeah, very impressive performance from World Elite. We spoke to this team's roster not changing, as Keep Your Dreams definitely should be the other way